Alabama, Don't Stop, Mississippi, Possum Point, Georgia, Miami.
Who's Amy?
Miami.
Hey, you mean your Amy?
Bo Hunkers.
Bo Hookers?
Bo Hunkers.
Bo Hunkers?
Oh, I beg your pardon. Hoboken.
Hoboken. Oh, well, Mr. Conductor, I want to go to Hot Town.
Hot Town?
Yes, sir.
That's the last stop.
Last-
All aboard.
All right, sir.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. I'm your host, Tethercat. And about 2 hours ago, my throat decided it was going to be unhealthy. So, I think I'm coming down with a flu bug. Luckily, it's not contagious through the internet. That means you get to watch. That means you can also participate. Where's the chat window here? Where did we put that thing? Let's just see if we can set this up here. Actually, let's pull it down here. Looks about right. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Chat window is go. Perfect. This is Crime and Punishment, 1984. How's audio? Mic audio is good. Background music audio is good. Everything seems to be okay. We can raise and lower the chat window if need be. This is an open chat on a Discord channel for some friends of mine I've set up. So if my friends are watching, they can join in. And if you're just watching at home, then leave your comments in the chat and we'll address those. Once again, I apologize for my sick voice. It's not sick in the way that modern slang says is awesome. It's awesome, and it's in the old way of speaking that it's sick. Crime Punishment, 1984. Court is now in session. Your rating will be affected by how much and what kind of information you choose. The defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of unlawful imprisonment. Let's look at details of the crime. And we're going to look at demographics. The offender is a 41-year-old white Mormon male. The victim was a 46-year-old white Jewish male. The offender-victim relationship, they were neighbors. Let's look at the weapon use and physical injury. The victim won't go out of the house. Unlawful imprisonment. The property damage or loss was $590. And the excuse given for this crime. The offender said he was upset at his child's death. Interesting. The offender's criminal record. We'll look at adult prior crime types, and those include the use of illegal weapons. Prior arrests and convictions. 1 prior recorded arrest, 1 prior recorded conviction. And the fugitive status on the day of the crime. The offender has no holds. The pre-sentence report. We'll look at the personal details. This 46-year-old man is recently divorced. He shoots dope, and he is a ski school graduate. That's his education level. He is a ski school graduate. Party on, dude. His employment history is that he has never been out of work. You'd think that he'd be out of work 6 months of the year, but hey, you do you. The courtroom prosecution details are that the jury recommends a stiff sentence. The media blasts soft judges. And there you have it. Let's, actually, one thing I want to do is I want to take the chat window and just reduce it a little. Pull it down here. Actually, we'll pull it over here. There, how's that? That's a little small. Let's bring it back up to about there. Alright, it's not much, but we'll work with it. We got words overlapping everywhere in the entire screen here. I guess we could reduce me a little. And I guess we could take the chat window and reduce that. There we go. That should be okay. Everything kind of fits. Oh, Let's hope my body holds up. I guess I can move the music window as well. Where's the music window? There we go. Look at that. The thing of beauty right there. All right, let's review the known facts of this case now that we've reorganized the window a little. In the crime of unlawful imprisonment, the property damage or loss was $590. The offender and the victim were neighbors. The victim won't go out of the house. The offender is a 41-year-old man. The victim was a 46-year-old man. The offender said that he was upset at his child's death. The offender has no holds. Prior crimes include use of illegal weapons. There have been one recorded prior arrest and one recorded prior conviction. The jury recommends a stiff sentence. The media blasts soft judges. The offender is recently divorced, shoots dope, and is a ski school graduate, which I love. And the offender has never been out of work. There. Well, in this case, I would think that lawful imprisonment is bad enough. Unlawful imprisonment is pretty darn bad. That's prison worthy. So I'm going to send this guy to prison. The amount of money was $560. The real damage here is that the neighbor won't come out of his house. So I don't think a stiff sentence is going to be required. Especially if the plea is that the defendant was grieving his child's death. The court can show a little bit of leniency, but that said, you know, you still don't want to do unlawful imprisonment. So I'm going to put this guy in the cage for 6 months. That's going to be my prison sentence here, is 6 months of prison. Alright, let's take a look and see how we did on this. Well, 2.5 years of prison. We are judged on a scale by the computer's length of time and how close we are or aren't to that estimate by the computer. And how we are judged is scored out of a set of 10 gavel strikes. In this case, 10 would be the best, 1 would be the worst, and I got probably 3. 1. Only 1 gavel. Perhaps you should study medicine. Yes, perhaps I should. My judicial IQ is 11. I'm feeling rough and it's going to be a rough night. Let's go to the next case. Now it's time for your next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. The defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of setting a false alarm. Sure. Let's type out what each one is, and then people can know what's going on. This handy-dandy chat window. Let's look at the details of this crime of setting a false alarm. We're going to look at the demographics. The offender is a 23-year-old Hispanic Catholic male. The victims are the state and the people. Excuse him for the... No. The offender-victim relationship. The offender didn't think anyone would be hurt. Well, he pulled a false alarm. The weapon used in physical injury, there were none. Property damage or loss. I remember, he didn't think anyone would be hurt. He's only 23. Property damage or loss? $290. Oh, that's peanuts. The excuse given for this crime, he said the reason was peer group pressure. This seems like a pretty juvenile case, all things considered. Like, without delving any further to any details, I'm thinking 2 years of probation. Let's continue, because we gotta see what all aspects of this case are. Let's look at the offender's criminal record, and we're going to look at adult prior crime types for this 23-year-old. Specific crime type information is unavailable. That's a default bug in the video game itself. Prior arrests and convictions, none and none. He's clean as a whistle. And the fugitive status on the day of the crime is that he left a drug detoxification program. These things happen. The pre-sentence report. Let's look at the personal details of this 23-year-old. The offender is cohabiting, he smokes cigars, and he is a vocational school graduate. His employment history is that he is a police officer. Now that's interesting. That's interesting. Alright. Courtroom prosecution details. The probation officer recommends leniency. The prosecutor calls for a strong sentence at a press conference. Well, let's review the known facts. In the crime of setting a false alarm. Yeah, you know what, I should, before we do anything further, I just want to grab my, where would I find it? Copy. Paste. Because there's just not enough going on in this window, is there? Perfect. There's not enough going on in this window. Okay. In the crime, it's I threw the clock up there in case anyone wonders why I'm yawning. The crime of setting a false alarm. The property damage or loss was $290. The offender didn't think anyone would be hurt. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 23-year-old male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said the reason was peer group pressure. The offender left a drug detoxification program. Specific crime type information is unavailable. Recorded priors are 0 recorded prior arrests and 0 recorded prior convictions. The probation officer recommends leniency. The prosecutor calls for a strong sentence at a press conference. The offender is cohabiting, smokes cigars, and is a vocational school graduate. And the offender is a police officer. Ooh. Yeah, there we go. We've reviewed the known facts. Let's reach a decision now. I was thinking 2 years of probation. 2 years of probation. But see, that was prior to the knowledge that he was a police officer. That changes things a little. The long arm of the law should be held to a higher standard of account than the normal citizenry. As such, I am going to give this 23-year-old squeaky clean police officer 3 months of jail. Because if anyone should have known better, it's him. 3 months is not enough to do any type of damage except to his reputation. And as a police officer, I feel this is justified. With that said, whether it's justified or not, we got to score up against the big green monster here. So let's see what this judge has to say. 3 months of jail. Probation, 5 years, 9 months. It was relatively close, but still. I think mine sent a message. Let's continue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Well done. You received 7 gavels. Sharpen your skills with another case. Let's do this. 7 gavels. Judicial. IQ 70. Yay. Now it's time for our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. The defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of assault. Let's look at the details of the crime. And we're going to go to the demographics. The offender is a 23-year-old white Catholic male. The victim was a 17-year-old black girl. The offender-victim relationship. The offender and the victim were lovers. The weapon used in physical injury. The victim was punched in the face. Property damage or loss was $1,985, and the excuse given for this crime, he said he wanted to impress a movie star. I don't like this one. Let's look at the offender's criminal record. The adult prior crime types include misdemeanors, and prior arrests and convictions are 6 recorded prior arrests, 1 recorded prior conviction. The fugitive status on the day of the crime, Arizona wants him. And the pre-sentence report, his personal details are that he is single. Yeah, now he is. He abstains from drinking and he has a high school equivalence diploma. His employment history is that he is a private investigator. It's people who know the law, I swear. The court and prosecution details. The defendant waived a jury trial and the defendant was defended by a public defender. There you have it. Let's review the known facts. In the crime of assault, the property damage or loss was $1,985. The offender and the victim were lovers. The victim was punched in the face. The offender is a 23-year-old man. The victim was a 17-year-old girl. The offender said he wanted to impress a movie star. Arizona wants him. Prior crimes include misdemeanors with 6 recorded prior arrests to his name and 1 recorded prior conviction. The defendant waived a jury trial. The defendant was defended by a public defender. The offender is single currently, abstains from drinking, and has a high school equivalence diploma. The offender is a private investigator. Alright, we're reaching a decision on this one. I don't like any of this, so I'm going to give this guy some harsh jail time. I was going to say 5 years. That is actually quite harsh, to be honest. He caused injury. It involved recorded physical assault and monetary loss. He has prior crimes on his rap sheet. We're giving this guy 48 months of jail time. 4 years of jail. I admit, I am pleasantly surprised by this, and you know what this means. Everyone, you know what this means. If you're not sure of what this means, allow me to fill you in. It means this.
Hello, folks. You know, I've been picking and trying to pick up banjos for 40 years or more. I used to just play the imitations, but now I'm going to give you a little of the variations of Casey Jones. Gentlemen, now, folks, I'm going to give you a little of Old Dan Tucker, containing more heterogeneous constant policy, double flavor, and unknown quality than usual. Watched his face in the frying pan, a combed his head with the wagon wheel, died the toothache in his heel. Got away, old Dan Tucker, he come too late to get your supper. Tucker was a hard-ridden sinner, never said grace over his dinner. The old hog squealed, the pig did squall, him old hog with tail and all. By the way, old Dan Tucker, he come too late to get your supper. Old Tom Wilson got on a drunk, fell in the fire and kicked up a chunk charcoal, got inside the shoe. Lord bless you, honey, how the ashes flew. By the way, old Dan Tucker, he come too late to get your supper. Here's the booze and Choctaw cider, lemon extract and old Budweiser, horse said it bitter than the doctor's tonic. The good book says a little good for the stomach.
That's right, everybody. We got a Symmetrical Duck Award. So, congratulations to us. That's our first Symmetrical Duck Award of the night. Let's examine what a Symmetrical Duck Award is. If you take a look at this screen, this purple and orange and yellow screen, you'll see that it really resembles, like it really resembles a duck bill. And back when I played this in 1984, I thought that this was a symmetrical duck. So, it's the Symmetrical Duck Award whenever we got a fantastic score. I generated a Symmetrical Duck Award in AI. And that's what you see in the top left. And we'll be accruing those throughout the evening as we rank those up. Currently, let's take a look at how we scored. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 gavels. There's no judge you can't match. You should be the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. 10 gavels. Judicial IQ of 111. Fantastic. Great job, team. We got a symmetrical duck award. Now let's look at our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. The defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of hijacking. And let's look at the details of the crime. We're going to look at the demographics. The offender is a 23-year-old black woman. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship. The offender said that the victims were only those who asked for it. The weapon used in physical injury. There was no personal injury. The property damage or loss was $4,000. And the excuse given for the crime of hijacking by this 23-year-old woman, she said she didn't do it. Oh, she pleads innocence. Let's look at the offender's criminal record, and we're going to look at adult prior crime types. Specific crime type information is unavailable. Prior arrests and convictions. She's clean. 0 prior recorded arrests, 0 recorded prior convictions. Her fugitive status on the day of the crime is that she is AWOL. Interesting. Let's look at the pre-sentence report. The 23-year-old woman, personal details. She is unwed, she drinks moderately, and she is a college freshman. Her employment history is that she owns a restaurant. The courtroom prosecution details. The defendant still claims her innocence. The defendant was defended by a private attorney. So we have a woman who is AWOL. Well, okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves. The crime is hijacking. Let's review the known facts. The property damage or loss was $4,000. The offender said that the victims were only those who asked for it. There was no personal injury. The offender's a 23-year-old woman. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said she didn't do it. The offender is AWOL. Specific crime type of information is unavailable, but for recorded priors, she has a clean record. The defendant still claims her innocence. The defendant was defended by a private attorney. The offender is unwed, drinks moderately, and is a college freshman. The offender is a restaurant owner. Well. It said that she's AWOL. Now, typically, that is something involving authority or the militia. However, it didn't state that she was militia, in fact, instead that she was a restaurant owner. So, she pleads innocence, although she did say that those people who got hijacked asked for it to a tune of $4,000. Huh. I don't think hijacking is a federal crime. Maybe it is. I don't think it is. So I'm willing to give this woman probation for 5 years. Typically, 5 years of probation, I feel, is a harsh sentence. I would give 5 to 10 years of probation for someone who is addicted to substances so that they can rehabilitate and get back in the system. In this case, because of this 23-year-old woman's squeaky clean record and the fact that she seems to be a responsible business owner, she pleaded innocence twice. I would say that 5 years of probation is enough to suss out whether she's telling the truth or not. So, let's give her a probation of 5 years. Giving her the benefit of the doubt on this one. Oh, prison 8 years. Phew. Damn. Damn. Well, one. Only one gavel. Perhaps I should study medicine. Is 86. Let's have a hydration check, everybody. I definitely feel under the weather. Excuse me. Like, I feel like it's the beginning of a flu. You know, when your muscles and your joints and your bones get all achy. That's kind of how I feel right now. Well, nothing we can do about it. We got one symmetrical duck award. So let's go on to the next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. Oh, the defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of computer piracy. Oh, this could be interesting. Let's look at the details of this crime. I don't know. If you look at, before we get into it, if you look at VHS piracy in 1984, it said that it was something that would be handled by the Federal Bureau of Investigations. So that implies federal. So this here basically states that the crime of computer piracy is going to be a prison sentence unless otherwise noted. Okay, 1984. Let's see what the details are. I have to remove that song. Too many people talking in my ear. Alright, details of this crime. We're going to look at the property damage or actually no, demographics. Demographics. The offender is a 53-year-old white Protestant male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship. The offender gave no thought to any victims. The weapon used in physical injury, none. Property damage or loss was $575. He was pirating a copy of Crime and Punishment, I would guess. The excuse given for this crime. He said he needed money to support a drug habit. Let's look at the offender's criminal record. This 53-year-old man. Adult prior crime types. Specific crime type information is unavailable. Prior arrests and convictions. None and none. Squeaky clean. Fugitive status on the day of the crime. The offender left an alcohol detoxification program. The pre-sentence report is that his personal details are he is unmarried, he doesn't use drugs, and he is a college scholar. Don't mind me, I feel rough. Employment history is that he is a car dealership owner. That's interesting. The courtroom prosecution details. The defendant was convicted by a jury. They needed a jury to convict a guy for $575. A radio commentator calls you soft. Now, that I am. More pudgy than soft. Let's review the known facts. In the case of computer piracy, the property damage or loss was $575. The offender gave no thought to any of his victims. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 53-year-old male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said he needed money to support a drug habit. The offender left an alcohol detoxification program. Specific crime type of information is unavailable, but otherwise the offender is squeaky clean. The defendant was convicted by a jury. A radio commentator calls you soft. The offender is unmarried, doesn't use drugs, and is a college scholar. The offender is a car dealership owner. Well, there you go. As I said, if the FBI is going to put the hammer down on VHS tapes, then the FBI is going to put the hammer down on computer piracy. So, this should be a prison sentence. However, given the fact that this is a relatively clean individual, a $575 impact to society, and given the fact that he needed the money to support a drug habit, I'm willing to go probation on this and give him 3 years of probation. I'll do 4 years of probation. I really want to see this man rehabilitated back into the system. I think that would be best for everybody. So we're going to do 4 years of probation for this computer piracy, which is definitely not Federal Bureau of Investigation. Survey says, oh, jail, 16 months, 16 days. That's a year and a half of jail. Year and a quarter. Oh, whatever. I feel like mine is still better, but at least, I don't know, a year and a half of jail. That's harsh. $500. Well, that's what they say. Crime doesn't pay. Yes, Verizon doesn't pay either. Crime doesn't pay, everybody. Come on, translation chain came up with my sick self. Let's see how we scored. 1. Only 1 gavel. Perhaps you should study medicine. Judicial IQ is 71. How am I feeling? Let me blow my nose and I'll let you know. Yeah, I'm definitely coming down with some. I also want to recalibrate the Tethercat avatar. Give me a second. Let's see if I can. Alright. See if that works. I was talking unnecessarily and blinking excessively. Okay. Audio is good. Music is good. Let's go on to our next case. Really, depending on how I feel, this may be the last case of the night. Okay. Now it's time for our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. Ooh, So, the defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of criminal impersonation. And let's take a look at the details of the crime. We're going to look at the demographics. The offender is a 45-year-old Hispanic woman. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship. The offender said that the victims should have been more careful. The weapon used in physical injury, there was none. The property damage or loss was $1,460. And in the crime of criminal impersonation, the excuse given was that she had to have money for a gambling debt. All right. Let's look at the offender's criminal record. This woman's adult prior crime types they include marijuana possession. Her prior recorded arrests and convictions, 10 recorded prior arrests, 9 recorded prior convictions. And the fugitive status on the day of the crime. The offender is an escaped mental patient. The pre-sentence report is that her personal details are that she is married by common law, she doesn't drink, and she is a community college student. Her employment history is that she is a scientist. The courtroom prosecution details, the defendant says, "I'm sorry. 60 minutes demands an interview." Now, normally we do not dive deeper. However, because she is an escaped mental patient, we're going to go look at her mental history. The offender has been known to hallucinate. Okay, let's review the known facts. In the crime of criminal impersonation, the property damage or loss was $1,460. The offender said that the victims should have been more careful. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 45-year-old woman. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said she had to have money for a gambling debt. The offender is an escaped mental patient. Her prior crimes include marijuana possession. Recorded priors are 10 recorded prior arrests, 9 recorded prior convictions. The defendant says, "I'm sorry. 60 minutes demands an interview." The offender has been known to hallucinate. The offender is married by common law, doesn't drink, and is a community college student. Also, the offender is a scientist. Okay. Let's reach a decision on this one. And, criminal impersonation, $1,460. She's been in the system a lot. I'm willing to... I'm thinking prison. I like leniency. I like rehabilitation, but... given the fact that she's been in the system, she's middle-aged, and she is an escaped mental patient, I think that several factors would work in her favor to go to prison, where she can be removed from society and receive the help she can get during a rehabilitation process. So, the amount of money for criminal impersonation was only like $1,500. It's only $1,500. So, I'm thinking 2 years of prison. If she exhibits any further, I don't know, exhibitions, then we'll deal with that at a later time. But I think 2 years of prison for this specific crime, I think that's worthy. Okay, well, let's see how we scored. Oh, heavy-handed. Judge sentenced to just shy of 8 months. Nah, well, 8 months of jail. I still think mine was justified. 1, 2, 3, 4. You received only 4 gavels. You may be ready to handle traffic at court. Try some more cases to improve your score. Well, everyone, I am feeling rough. Straight up, I am feeling rough. Yeah. I'm gonna call it. So, I'm gonna try and go get healthy. And all of you, I urge you to stay on the good side of the law. Stay clean, stay healthy, be upright citizens. And as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, Translation Chan, you too.